Hello and welcome to Reviews. As always, I'm Plume Noir, and this is Spider-Man #1. This is the variant cover, the Chip Kid variant edition. This is die cut, ooh. Um, but it's the first issue of J.J. Abrams and Henry Abrams' Spider-Man comic, with art by Sarah Pichelli, who I like her art actually. J.J. Abrams, on the other hand, I'm not really a fan of J.J. Abrams. I didn't. I only watched the first Star Trek remake he did, and I didn't like it. I didn't watch the other ones. Um, the Force Awakens, I was one of the people that thought that was only okay. If you look at it from the cyclical nature of things, those who don't learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. Everything happens in cycles. That's why you have so many of the story beats from the original trilogy. Okay, it wasn't bad in that regard. As far as I was concerned. Yeah, it has some bad problems with it, granted, but it, I thought it was only okay. I didn't absolutely hate it like I did the Last Jedi. But I never watched Alias, never watched Lost, so my experience with his work hasn't been too good. Um, and this, of course, is he and his son are doing this, and of course nepotism is a thing, and it's all about networking, right? And yeah, that's why Nicolas Cage actually changed his name, so he wouldn't get on the Coppola family name. Say what you will about Nick Cage, I will give respect on that. Now, like I said, this is a variant cover, and you know how I feel about variants. I think it's one of the worst things of the '90s. To don't bring this up and all the gimmicks and that. Oh, look at that. Oh, um, but this I got it from my new backup comic shop, and so it wasn't like paying $8 for something. It was actually the same price. Um, so fine, okay. I'm not going to pay $8 for a different cover, especially a gimmicky cover like this. But yeah, cover's okay. Now there will be spoilers, because this book is not good. It's really not, and I'm going to tell you right now. Marvel doesn't know what to do with Spider-Man. Marvel does not like Spider-Man, is the impression I get. Now, this book is an alternate universe about Peter Parker and Mary Jane's kid who develops spider powers. No, I'm not talking about Spider-Girl. Spider-Girl was actually good. So we're just going to retread all that ground. And I'll come to that. I'll give my thoughts at the end. Let's just take a look at this, what I can show. Um, So yeah, we have this whole, black page. You see Tiger, and then just mass destruction. And Mary Jane is running, looking for Peter. Tiger. You know, Mary Jane doesn't really call him Tiger all the time. Um, and he's ouch. So Spider-Man's fighting a villain. You see his arm is tore the f up, and so yeah, he's being, his usual sarcastic, and we need to go. The rules are different now. You know that. And yeah, I really don't like red and blue anyway. What? Not really sure what that means. Maybe that'll come back. Um, but yeah, that's not funny. He would laugh. He laughs at everything. Who's he? Their son? Are they talking about their son there? Or will that come back? I'm just speculating. Um, And then we have the villain, who is cadaverous. And, he's asking, help us, Spider Man. We need you. Okay. So Spider Man, sends Mary Jane away, and the robots jump on him. And for some reason, they need him, but they're going to kill him. Oh, okay. And then Mary Jane gets killed. Not only does she get killed, she gets thrown off of a bridge. Yeah. And then Cadaverous tells them, get him. And we don't really see how this battle ends because it goes right to MJ's funeral. It just cuts. There's a lot going on there. You have the bad guy who is um, saying we need Spider-Man's help, but then kills innocents. Um, and we do see a little bit of that Cadavers has something going on, like a whole Mr. Freeze type vibe. But here is the son. Um, Interesting. May Parker, excuse me, May Parker's a girl, but she takes after Peter. But when they have a boy, with the red hair, looks more like Mary Jane. Just thought I'd point that out. It's like they're really trying to distance themselves from that. No, we haven't done this story already. You remember when Spider-Man lost a leg? No, no, no. He loses his arm. Yeah, you see, he lost his arm. So yeah, I don't know what kind of alternate universe they live in, but if there is the Fantastic Four or other heroes. So now we jump 12 years later. This is just a prologue. Um, Ben Parker, Peter's son, is getting ready. He's making breakfast for Aunt May. And then he goes off to school, sees someone being bullied. And so even this guy is much bigger than him. He's getting in his face, basically hunting the bully. Okay, fine. And then he just throws him through the wall, through the door. And gets in trouble. He's in the principal's office. The world doesn't need your kind of help. Uh, I assume you said he deserved it, Parker. But this is the fourth time I've seen you this week. It's Tuesday. They all deserved it. And then Peter shows up, because the school called him. And, yeah, we see that Peter has lost his arm. He's got a prosthetic, which is why I wonder, with all the Fantastic Four and Avengers, why does Peter have this hook arm? I mean, not only is he a pretty good scientist, he has all these friends. Why did Rick Grimes in the post-apocalyptic future have a more high-tech, false hand than Peter Parker? I was kind of hoping you saw this at first. It was actually Kane, but no, it's Peter. He is now a full-time photographer, and he's not home. He's flying around the world, taking full-time photographs, and Ben is being raised by Aunt May. Let that sink in for a minute, please. And just, yeah. So, all I'm saying is sometimes trying to help only makes things worse. That's not Peter Parker. Even losing Mary Jane. Remember, Peter Parker has lost Gwen Stacy. And yeah, he wanted to give up, but he still kept going. Because he knows what it's like to lose. He knows that there has to be someone out there who will step up and take the responsibility. So then we get this silly powers are kicking in. He can't get his hand unstuck from the door. Yeah, we saw this into the Spider-Verse, yeah. And then he falls asleep with a picture of his mom. Okay. Aunt May's still alive. She comes up, asks, what about the door? He tries to mac on this kind of pseudo-goth punk girl, who's covered with green paint. And she has, when Ben keeps talking to her, she says, anyone want to switch seats? And, she says, how the hell can a teacher be such an explicitly sexist dirtbag and not be reprimanded? Yeah, it's my second year in this stuff. It feels like a decade. Mr. Foster talks about women like they're things, his things he touches. Administration does nothing, but not me. You know what I did? Um, yeah, don't, no, you're telling me in 12 years, now everyone's just like, hey, well, go ahead and touch the kids inappropriately. That's cool. That's not like a major crime. Right now, that there aren't news stories when this happens that the teachers get fired. They happen right now, except if they're women. They still get fired, but they don't go to jail as long. But the male teachers, they still get punished. So what are you raging against? This is not. I don't get this whole scene, this whole character. All it takes is one person to stand up and say, not anymore, not as long as I'm here. So I'm going to stand on this chair and yell that. And then she's told to sit down, and she sits right down. Most people are afraid to do the right thing. You ever notice that? This whole scene is really, really weird. It kind of comes across as they're trying to be, I don't know, I don't want to say it, but kind of the whole woke, the whole girls not being believed. But she just says that, it seems well known and they're not reprimanded. What is going on that teachers can touch girls in New York 12 years in the future and there's no type of punishment for this? I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. And then we go into the cadaverous sitting here staring at his woman in a tube, and kind of looks like Black Cat. And so, yeah, nightmares, and Ben has nightmares, and basically Aunt May calls Peter out on his bullcrap. You've always had good excuses. Ben's out of control. Remind you of anyone, Peter? I see things happening to him, like I saw with you. Even more reason he's better off without me. You both are. You know it. May, I gotta go. We're on the runway. Okay, so I gotta stop here. It's because basically it's Ben getting his powers. So, Peter Parker, Mr. Great Power, Great Responsibility. His son is going to develop spider powers. Aunt May is warning about that. The person who could teach him the most is running. Yeah. Yeah, I understand, being stricken with grief, and he's just going to leave his son. Also, be a photographer. You know, you would think that, maybe in this alt universe he hasn't finished his degree. You'd think he'd go and finish his degree and do something, more in the sciences. Something that would, benefit mankind. The guy invented, basically a long range sticky stuff that post-it notes use. Some temporary thing. You would think, stuff like that would have a good, implementation in the real world. Any type of, quick temporary hold, sealant that you might need, while you're waiting for like something to be repaired. Anyway, there is a use for it. I get mad because this is we're writing Spider-Man, but we're going to crap on Peter Parker. And that bugs me. It really bugs me that whenever we get one of these other writers, they want to do something like this, especially a route that we've already been down. And so this supposedly was written by Abrams and his kid. I can't help but wonder how much of this was written by Henry Abrams. Making TV and making movies takes up a lot of time. Does the character of Ben actually, is it just himself and his father never being around? Is he trying to work through that with this? Is that what he relates to? I'm tired of being creators, therapists while they're working out their issues. I really, really am. Um, Also, we already have, Ben Parker, who stands up to bullies, is listening to the cute chick as she's talking about basically, you know, being raped by teachers. And, it's almost like Flash Thompson. What if Flash Thompson had got bitten by the spider? And I'm talking high school Flash Thompson. Back in the original, '60s version, when he was still kind of a jerk. There is so much of reading this going, who is this? Who are these people? This is not Peter Parker. It really isn't. Let's just go ahead. We're going to cut off his arm and have him step off to the side. And we're going to focus on his kid. His kid who lost his mom as a youth, and his dad is never around. That's not what Peter Parker would do. That's not what Peter Parker would do. If you've ever read any type of comic, yeah, give up being Spider-Man, that I can believe. Becoming a police officer seems more in line with what Peter Parker would do. Um, and just, just giving up and just running out on his son and leaving his aunt to raise him. Peter Parker's parents died, and he had to be raised by his aunt. You're telling me of all the people who would want to be raised, have their actual parents, even just one of them raise them, it would be Peter Parker. This book is garbage, and I don't think I'm going to keep reading this. I know it's a limited series, but, I don't care about this Mystery of Cadaverous. It looks like it's just another Mr. Freeze. Um, Not an original thought in this. It's Spider-Girl meets Batman the Animated Series. And then we're going to crap all over the characters while we're at it, so our original character, Ben Parker, can be awesome. Screw this book, screw you, Abrams, and this is why I don't watch your crap. Um, 5 o'clock. I'm going 5 o'clock on this. Why am I going not full 6 o'clock? I like the art. I'm going to be honest. The art, I didn't mean to turn to the last page. It's Sarah Pichelli. I actually kind of like her art. And, like this page here, it's very emotive here. And, yeah, not quite sure how his mask stays on in these scenes. Why it's not just falling off of his cheek, but whatever. Anyway, this book's garbage. Just because you get a big name on it doesn't mean crap. So anyways, thanks for watching. I need to get back to the House and Powers of X. I got the issues. I'm 2 weeks behind. I got the issues. I just haven't read them yet, so that's why I haven't covered them. And so I'll probably catch up on those tonight. And which one came out this week? You have these two series coming out at the same time. I mix them up, so I think House of X #5 came out this week. Whichever it is, I'll catch up and I'll do a video on that. There's some other things that came out this week that's just So anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.